My name's Serota. I'm here representing GoodDollar. So I'm going to talk to y'all about something called GoodCollective, which we've been building for the past 6 months, which is an open source platform to directly compensate individual land stewards across a variety of different activities for their climate positive work. So when we think about natural assets, a lot of us think about what should be up here is a picture of a forest, right? Yes. So we're being hosted by dClimate, which is a satellite intelligence company, right? So a lot of us in this room are thinking about how we can see what's happening in the forest, how we can monitor things from pictures that look like this, right? From far away, seeing what changes are happening or aren't happening. But actually where change is happening is on the ground by people. So those of you in the room who have dirt under your fingernails will probably know that the photo of a person is not a forester, they're a paddy farmer. And what they're showing is actually a piece of paddy, or soon-to-be rice, coming up out of the chute and forming into a rice kernel. And what's really interesting is that people like this person are the ones that are actually doing the work on the ground to regenerate our land, to reforest our forests, and to preserve our waterways. These people are already armed with powerful digital technology. This is a photo from 10 years ago of somebody with a $40 Huawei in rural Myanmar being a remote sensor for a farm advisory service. Pretty cool, right? So this isn't new technology, and this isn't news, that a lot of people around the world are using digital technology in sophisticated ways, sometimes beyond even our wildest imagination, people in this room. And it's no longer controversial or can be debated that the people who are closest to the problem, the people who are living these problems, are the best suited to solve them. And there are over 1 billion smallhold farmers in the world. So if we just look at smallhold farming and how many of people are every single day going out and touching the ground, these are the people that can affect climate change or can help mitigate climate change. So all of us here are really to serve them, not the other way around. A lot of the conversations today have really been about asset classes, about markets, about financial flows. Those should all be in service of the most scalable and affordable network that we have to mitigate climate change, which is the people who are living in environments that have potential for climate impact. But they're really hard to get to. So a lot of the people who are doing the hard work are in really far areas, and they're really difficult to reach. And so it's really hard to get money to them. And sometimes it has to be delivered via intermediaries, like banks, like ministries, like institutions, like NGOs or CSOs. And it's really tough to know how much of that money is actually making it back to the people who were doing the work, the restoration work, the reforestation work, the regenerative farming, et cetera. It's also difficult to know whether that work is having an impact. So everybody in here, we've talked a little bit about DMRV and the potential for DMRV. Traditional MRV is time intensive. It's expensive. It sometimes requires people to fly in to do it, and oftentimes results in reports or things that are retrospective and not digital. So it's really difficult to, in real time especially, monitor what's happening on the ground. This is no longer a problem. Oh, we'll keep going, Sydney. Keep going. Okay, so we are all here because we believe that there's a potential for digital technology to bridge this gap. We're in the room being hosted by people who are providing digital technologies to do just that. So with these technologies, we don't need any of those intermediaries anymore, or those intermediaries can have their intelligence baked into these digital platforms. So automatically reporting can happen without needing them to come in real time. And furthermore, we have digitally native payment platforms that allow us to reach people that we couldn't reach before, whether because it was too difficult or they didn't have bank accounts. So what this means is we're now able to, in theory, support a diversity of actors that are working all over the world, right? But how do we do this, right? So we have DMRV platforms that are looking at biodiversity. We have DMRV platforms looking at reforestation, afforestation. These are all fundamentally different things. So this is why we built GoodCollective, because we saw an opportunity to create a platform that actually works with all of these things, that delivers payment to people regardless of what activity they're doing, because at the end of the day, the measurements that they're taking, the activities that they're taking that correspond to a DMRV technology and to a methodology can be quantified, and they can be compensated for those actual activities. So the way that these work is a steward takes a measurement using a device, or a measurement is read based on a device that's around them. It is corroborated with a digital technology. Sorry, I'm going to move so I can actually see this because there's a glare. So it's sent to a DMRV provider. And then it is sent to a smart contract on our side. So we have a pool of money that says, hey, as soon as somebody takes a measurement and it's been verified and we know that it's a good verification or a good claim, send money directly to the wallet of the person who took that measurement. Really simple, right? This can be done now. It has been done now. We've built it. We have it piloted in field, okay? And then, of course, from a donor perspective, what does that mean? That means a donor gets information as to exactly who got paid and the activity they did that corresponded with that payment. So all of those interstitial layers are essentially removed. And this is kind of the promise of all the stuff that we're building, right? So this shouldn't be news to anybody, but we wanted to prove that it can be done across projects. And the benefit of building on open and public blockchain is that you can start to do these things really across any different project provider. So we're working with 2 right now that I'll tell you about in a second. You can kind of flip through these. I've already talked about this, so you keep going. So we've built, and because what we built is actually technically a smart contract and a lot of things that people in this room probably don't want to go and configure, we've also spent time building an application layer for that, which is a GoodCollective dApp. So you're not seeing it there because it's not playing for some reason, but I'll send y'all a link afterwards. And pretty much what it is, it's a way to see where the money's going and see what the impact is that's been resolved. So we've built an actual UI analytics layer that is human readable, not nerd readable, as a way to access all the information from any of these collectives that exist. Obviously, there's a couple of different use cases. So for payments for ecosystem services schemes, where there's currently a lot of opacity in terms of impact measurement and who's getting the money, there's obviously an applicability for what we're building. Conservation basic income. So GoodDollar, the platform that we've built on top of, the payments platform, already delivers universal basic income. The idea here is that if there are people who are safeguarding critical areas, giving them a daily amount of money so that they can continue to do that stewardship and improve their livelihood is really critical. And this is becoming a much more popular kind of conservation and economic concept. And then finally, this would enable social stacking of additional payments on top of existing ecological credits, so carbon credits, biodiversity credits, et cetera. So we hope to build something that is really broadly applicable across all of those. We've been running a pilot, as I mentioned, as we were building this. One was with a group called Noduc, which is in Coroadio in Brazil. And they divert waste from landfills to upcycling and recycling. So these are some of the 18 people that have so far, since just I think mid-May, diverted about 400 kilograms of waste to recycling and upcycling, and who have in turn received about $300 US themselves. Oh, we passed the other one. And then the other is that we're working with Sylvie, GMO. Some of you might have met GMO Serotino, who was here earlier. They're doing reforestation and restoration in rural Kenya. And so we're working with them to correspond their tree stewardship activities to payments. So every time somebody stewards a tree from seedling to being ready for reforestation, they get compensated for it by our platform. This was made possible by funding from the Climate Collective and support from DORG, who was our development partner, as well as in-kind contributions from the GoodDollar team, and all of the cool people on our team who are not here to talk about this, who I'm representing today, so I hope I did an okay job despite not having a clicker. And so if you would like to, feel free to give us money so that we can continue to do this work. You can donate using any currency on the Seller ecosystem. Or if you want to start a collective, if you are a project developer, community organizer, a DMRV provider, and you want to talk about using this or learn about how to deploy your own pool, do that. Take a photo of the QR on the right, or find me afterwards, and I'm happy to talk to you more about how to do that. All right, I hope you were able to follow the little bit of asynchronous with me and Sydney doing some jazz right here. Thank you so much, and have a great day.